So I'm making this video to discuss some comments on the previous video that I posted, which I discussed an issue with AI, and um, I brought up a couple of different points, and four people in particular, they just decided to comment, so I was just going to make this video kind of elaborating on their comments, because, I mean, some of them they have some, reasonability. One was, I when discussing AI, I brought up Dungeon Meshi, which is a Netflix anime, and I said I couldn't remember the name of the Japanese name of it, uh, which it is Delicious in Dungeon, which Donut Kitten 225 made sure to remind me of, and then called me a baka, which means stupid or idiot in Japanese. But meshi is not delicious in Japanese. That's oishi. I know that. So I mean, fair criticism from him on that one. The next one, kind of the main meat of the video on this one here, is from Mr. Turtle Boy. He asked, again talking about Dungeon Meshi. I was talking about a dwarf, and then I said I couldn't remember his name. But Mr. Turtle Boy was quick to remind me that it was Senshi, is the dwarf's name in Dungeon Meshi, which is delicious in Dungeon in English, or the English version. And he also commented under that. Also, I do not understand where you're coming from with the metaphor that Marcel's magic, which is the elf that I mentioned earlier, in cooking being like AI. However, I think this is unfair to Marcel and all the other mages, as the magic performed is most definitely not effortless and has taken years of dedication and hard work to learn. Which I don't disagree. But the metaphor I used was that the dwarf Senshi doesn't like to use magic because he likes to honor the process, and I was making the comparison that magic is like AI, that you should, be dedicated, or not dedicated, but find some kind of value in being able to form a sentence and form paragraphs and form, a logical idea, back after back after back, and I was saying that AI kind of takes that away from you a little bit. And I don't disagree with what he's saying. Magic is learned. It's not just given in the anime. But again, you didn't just learn to use AI. Like, it wasn't, you had to learn the alphabet, you had to learn how to form sentences, you had to learn how to read all these different things to be able to use AI to make it easier. In the same way magic is. Like, if you were to, it's exponential growth versus like linear growth, where the non-AI is the linear growth, and the AI is, the worst AI is got to be worse than a person, or not, maybe not worse than a person, but maybe like, if the graph's like this, the linear and the exponential, the linear model is going to be better, so the non-AI is going to be better than the AI, because as AI goes along, it exponentially gets better. That's just how AI works. Whereas the linear, it's as over time you get better and better and better at it, with kind of continuously, I would say. So I'm not saying that it takes no skill, but you had to learn how to read, how to write, how to, think somewhat, just to be able to form a question to give to the AI, to let it spit out an answer for what you're trying to get. So again, I think that's what the metaphor was meant to be, which I think it's a fine question to have, but I think that's where the difference between, the magic hard work is. Like, it's hard work to learn a whole language, It's hard to do that, but people do it, you know. And I think it can be, lost sight as like AI is just this easy kind of thing. Like again, it's not, but it's much easier than actually having to and go to a library and find the books that you need and find the sources that you need and whatever else. Which it's also harder in anime to create a fire with your hands rather than use a magic tool or whatever. So that was my metaphor. That's what I was trying to get across. And I think Mr. Turtle Boy had a fine, fine issue with it. But I think ultimately the metaphor makes sense. And the next one, in the previous video, the whole point was people were using AI for a discussion post about what single event changed world history the most. I think that was how the question was worded. And I said, and the point was that people were using AI and all of them were spitting out the Industrial Revolution. Like that was, like, the majority of the answers to the question were Industrial Revolution, which I think is crazy because there's no way that many people think that. But they were using AI. And that's what AI thinks. So I was saying, I think AI is wrong on that issue, and that the Industrial Revolution isn't the most, single event that changed world history the most. And one of the people in the comments of the last video tried to, bunker down that the Industrial Revolution was by inputting it into an AI software of some sort, and went through like the technological advancements, economic changes, social impact, and the global influence of it, to try to say that it was, in fact, which again, I think that's wrong, okay? And for multiple reasons. One, it's anything before the Industrial Revolution, like major events before the Industrial Revolution, are just more, they just answer the question better because they changed it more, because they lead up to the Industrial Revolution. That's just how it works. That's just how like chronological events work. You have to have one before the next, So before the Industrial Revolution, the Stone Age had to happen, or whatever, and whatever else is in between there. Like, you can't get here without going through here. So, but yeah, and also, it's kind of, you're not viewing it on a global standard, I would say, really. It's a very Americanized point of view. Maybe not Americanized, but, I don't know what the right word is, but I'll go with Americanized, that the Industrial Revolution is the most, because there are places in the world where I would argue the Industrial Revolution had very little effects, especially at the time that the Industrial Revolution was happening. Now, yeah, like the effects have been felt all over the world, sure. But again, it's a very Americanized take to have. It's like saying like the conquest of the Mongols, like that relatively that did not affect the American population very much, but in the same way it affected it a lot more, like Genghis Khan was way more influential for the eastern part of the world rather to the west. That's just how it works. It's the diffusion of it. It's there's just classes over this, and ideas, how not information but events progress, and how likely it is for things to overlap and stuff like that. So again, the Industrial Revolution is not the biggest single event to change world history. That's just how it works. That's just how it works, okay? And you're wrong, the person that commented that. And then the final one was, I think that young Sheldon was probably the biggest thing to happen, which I think, yeah, funny comment, bro. Good one. But if if you made it this far, subscribe for the W or something. Uh, Saints are beating the Cowboys tomorrow. That's as well. That's happening. So deal with it.